it just never gets tired, Monty. It never gets tired.
Onward, Christian soldiers.
Yes, indeed.
Happy
Let's
Monday,
go.
Carl.
Happy Monday, Monty.
Here we
Happy
are
Monday.
on Get Found.
And be seen. Had to put the pause there. The power of the pause, remember?
Hour of the pause. I was waiting for it. Building that anticipation. Suspenseful.
There it
Like,
is.
did his screen freeze? No, it didn't. He's going.
Yeah. It's powerful, and it just does so much. Today, we're talking about Monty. We are talking about this is very interesting. Imagine your web presence as a multifaceted gem. It's funny we talked about this because this came from an idea where we talked about a short that we did when you were on CJ and I's podcast, Your Brand Express, and we talked about how you showed up then and how you're showing up now. It's like you're a beast now. You're like, you're just captivating the screen.
Experience.
Experience.
That was my first online episode on any type of a podcast was that one there.
Right.
So I wasn't like sweating, but I wasn't as comfortable as I am now.
Right. But you still had a smooth voice.
The voice hadn't changed.
The
Same voice.
Same voice.
Same package.
Same package. Same package.
The voice is the same, just the words are different.
The words are different. And the tones and the tonality and all those other details. Yes. Which is a good thing. It's a good thing.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. So yes, imagine your web presence as a multifaceted gem. That was when you said that, I was like, wow, that's a really good analogy. We should talk about that.
Let's do. It's worked very well. I've used that for multitude of explanations. Just the concept of okay, so there's all these different sides and then
Right.
the polishing it. So okay, we're giving it some effort and work, and
Right.
So lots of different ways that it applies to real life.
Right on. Perfect analogy. When it comes to just presenting online and letting your brand be seen online and having that strong web presence, it's true. And it's interesting because it's easy to approach this in so many different ways, and it's so easy to get distracted too. And so it's right, and it's so
Yep.
important to have a focus and to have a plan, and even if you need to have someone working with you to help guide you through the process, because there's so many things and some things. A funny thing is some things may seem so simple, but you can end up going down a wormhole.
And we're gonna have to have a whole new episode on that. I'm gonna write that down right now.
Go ahead.
A whole episode on the solopreneur, because that's what we are. We do everything ourselves. We're a team of one.
Team of one.
And that is rough. And we could go off on that whole big topic. So we will talk about that, because that is something that needs to be talked about. Because I've been learning all kinds of stuff in the last 2 months.
Yes.
In that field.
Although I do love working with you too, Monty, I must say.
Well, that's part of the conversation. Part of that thing of you don't have to when you're a solopreneur, you don't have to hire people to work with people.
That's right.
We'll leave it at that and move back into this gem, the diamond.
Back into it.
And I don't know, let's start to truly make it sparkle. You want to identify where your customers are at, because so you have this gem and you have all these different sides, and it represents Facebook and website and Medium and TikTok and YouTube and all these other ones that I'm not saying. Dozens and dozens and dozens of different places that people can see you.
Right.
So we've talked before about identifying your ideal client. Talk about identify the people that you really want to do business with, the ones that you're going to make the most impact, and they're going to make you some profit, because you can't help anybody if you're not making profit. Profit's not bad.
Right.
So you find out, there's some people over here on Facebook. Well, I'll polish that Facebook facet a little bit there so they see it sparkles to them. Do I have anybody over on TikTok? No, I don't have anybody on TikTok. I don't need to worry about that one. Oh, but my website, I got traffic to my website. Hey, I need to polish that one up.
Right.
Pick and choose the right ones.
Right. Pick and choose the right ones. And you got this one. You got the podcast side too. Polish
Podcast
it
is
up.
another facet.
Another facet.
Each podcast, I should say, not just podcasts in general. I'm going to polish the podcasts facet. No. It's the get found, be seen facet. And then there's the whatever other show, another show. They all have their own facet.
Right.
They kind of point towards different people.
Right. Right. And I know you said that too. You got to understand the ideal customer. And I don't know about you, but when I'm working with clients, it's so easy to get distracted and get unfocused get unfocused from focusing on your avatar, your ideal customer. And so for me, always striving to say, okay, we got to make sure you're still focusing on your ideal client because there's so many things coming your way. And that's one of the hardest things. I know I'll even admit, even for me, sometimes that can get really hard. So and then so if even for us, we're working with clients, we're doing our own thing and pushing our own brand out there. That's one of the challenges as far as when we're juggling, focusing on that target audience.
And that maybe the analogy can help with that because, like I said,
Right.
the facets for each individual thing, not like if you have more than one website, then you're not polishing the website facet. You need to be polishing the facet of each of those websites.
Right.
And so it's really easy to draw that back and say, oh well, I'm just polishing all the websites. Maybe you're low on time, or you're focusing on something else, and you just you're not paying enough attention. There's that it's really easy. You're focusing on your ideal client, and then you're like, yeah, but there's all these other people, and you kind of draw back so that you can pull in more because you think I need more people in my group. But that's the old school marketing technique. That's just the numbers game. That's just the well, if I get if I'm going to find 1% of the people that like my stuff, then I need to go out to millions of people so that I can get the right amount of. But if you're targeting, you don't need to go out to millions of people to find those 100 or those 1,000 that you really want in your group.
Right on. Well put. That's true. That's true. So even that in and of itself, it takes a focus.
Right.
It comes back to focus.
And that focus is not easy. I'm admitting that. I'm saying that from me. I mean, I know I talk about it and I tell other people, oh, you need to focus down.
Right.
And it's like, if I could step out of myself and talk to me, I mean, I talk to myself all the time, but I mean, really like as another entity looking at me and telling me so that I would listen to myself.
Right.
Because it's so easy to say, well, but if I focus on that, that means I'm leaving these people out.
Right.
And that's difficult.
Right.
Sometimes you want to say, okay, well, I have two avatars then, and I've polished the facet that's facing these ones. So I'm focused on that. Okay, now I'm going to polish the facet on this one and focus on those people, but they need to be two separate actions.
Right. And even that in of itself, that's not for everyone.
Right.
That's not for everyone, because even focusing on the one avatar, if you're having enough trouble with that, you definitely shouldn't be doing it for the two avatars.
Right. Now, two avatars is for, hey, this one is going and it's working and I want to expand now. So I want to pull in these other types of people.
Right.
But there's that concept of, it's like expanding in this world now is not like this. It's not adding more into this box. It's putting another box next to it.
Right.
And equally, or maybe not equally, it just depends, but putting effort into them focused. Instead of 100% into this, we're putting 25 here and 75 here, or 50 and 50 or whatever.
Right. You got to be very intentional, which we'll be talking about at some point in a future podcast episode. I got to say, I want to put that plug out there, Monty.
That's right. Just talking about that.
Just talking about that. But you have to be super intentional about it. And so if you feel like you can't be intentional in this, if you feel like you're getting unfocused, focus on that one avatar and think about how you can polish up those different aspects of that gem.
Yeah, and that's a great statement there. If you feel like you're becoming unfocused, Are you working on more than one avatar? Because that would be easy. It's like, oh, it's so hard to focus on all this. Well, just set those aside. Don't get rid of them. I'm not saying forget about them. I'm saying focus.
Right.
So if they're not in your focus, just set them to the side a little bit so you can focus on that one thing. That's, in fact, I was talking with someone today, getting a little bit of coaching from a friend. And that's basically what he was saying. He's like, you need to identify what's truly important here and focus on that. And stop worrying about the little details that are the orbiting things. It's the core that's really important.
Right.
So there's that focus. When your focus is out there looking at all the things orbiting around it, you get distracted by them all.
Mm-hmm.
Focus down in on just the core, and all that other stuff is no longer affecting you. Very enlightening. Very helpful.
Right. And for our audience, I'd pose a question, Monty. If you're listening or watching, you're tuning in, even if you're watching a replay, do you have a hard time focusing on your target audience? Do you have a clear definition of who your target audience is? Not just saying, hey, I just thought about it for 3 minutes. Okay, oh, this is my target audience. No, doing the research and really understanding, because there's a psychology to it. So I know we talked about it before, but it's always good to bring it back up.
Yep. Yeah, refreshing. It's definitely something that's easy to take for granted, because you're like, oh, I figured it out.
Right.
But it evolves too, because they're humans.
Right.
And technology evolves. And so the difference between humans, or not difference, but the comparison with humans and technology together means that there isn't very much that you can set up and say, good to go. I'll move on to the next thing and forget about that.
Right.
Now, even evergreen material still requires a little bit of maintenance.
Maintenance and tweaking. That's right. Maintenance and tweaking.
And tweaking. Yep.
And I'm glad you said that, because the hard thing is, it's easy for us as people, as human beings, human condition, right? We want to keep things simple and easy, which there's a place in that, for that time and place for that, which is important. But it's easy to treat people like systems, as opposed to treating people like people and updating our systems when we need to. According to
it's interesting that how similar humans and systems, humans and technology are, and yet how different.
Right. Very true. Very true. And it's important, as a business owner, or if you're in the marketing department working with the business, to pay attention to that. You got to pay attention to, you got to make sure you're treating the people as people, and things are going to change. 3 months from now, 6 months from now, things will change, and we got to be able to adapt. But people are people and systems are systems, and we got to update our systems according to what the needs are. And that includes our avatars, our target audience. I don't know about you, Monty, but I try to make it a point to update my avatar often, because things just change.
Well, the aspect that I've been toying with is having the parent avatar and then making children avatars from that. So you have this overall idea. Here's my ideal client, and this is the basic structure of what they're like. They like these things. They want to solve this problem. This is their pain point. Okay. Well, but there's this other person that's really close to them, but their pain point's different. So I consider that's a child. That's a focused avatar. So the parent avatar is a little more general. It's like, here's a bunch of different kinds of people fit into this bubble. But you can't market to them as effectively as if you pull one of those people out and say, hey, this guy has this exact pain point. And this guy has this other exact pain point. So now we have two children avatars. They both want the same product. They both want the same result. But their pain point is a little different. And that's really helped me, because I've been trying to figure out, well, how do I incorporate all these different pain points into my avatar? Well, you don't have to. Because really, you only want to focus on one.
Right.
No, and I've heard Jim say this a lot of different times. It's like, okay, do you want to do this correctly, or do you want to go get a job with the hairnet and ask the infamous question? And he always says this, and everybody says this, and this is where they're wrong. They say, would you like fries with that or perhaps a hot apple pie? McDonald's trained their employees to ask yes or no questions because a confused mind will not buy. Do you want
Ah.
fries or an apple pie? I don't want either.
Mm.
Would you like fries with that? Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. Well, how about a hot apple pie? Oh, yeah, I want one of those.
Mm.
So that's interesting.
Dag, that was a great analogy. That took it to another level. Teresa, this beautiful woman she pops up. This beautiful bride.
That's why I paused. I saw that.
Ah, I think I do. Then I learned something new, and then my audiences may change a bit. Yeah, or grow. I love it. That's a great point, T.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only are you growing, but your audience can grow.
Right. Oh, T says I like that. The parent avatar. Yeah, Monty, that's great.
Yeah. I designed that for myself because I
Mm,
was having troubles. Like I said, it's like I'm trying to cram all these pain points. I'm trying to cram all of
right.
these desires and
Right.
all those different things into one person.
Right.
And it just wasn't working.
Right.
And then I don't remember what it was. Oh, Jim said something about changing the pain point on an avatar during one of the workshops or something. And that it was like a light bulb. It was like, I just make a whole nother avatar with that one pain point that's different. And
Mm,
so therefore there's that focus. It's like, oh, I'm talking to this group of people, but you know what? I want to talk about this one specific thing that's only going to appeal to some of them.
right.
And that's okay. I don't need to
Absolutely.
appeal to everybody all the time.
Right. And the truth of the matter is you won't. If you try to, you're gonna fail. And I hate to be that blunt, but it's
Or, well,
because
you will not be as successful at the very least. Even if you don't
right.
fail, it's that, hey, I helped that person 50%. Now, do you want to help 10 people 50% or one person 100%?
Right. Right.
And
And it all
that depends on your focus. Some people will be like, well, if I help 10 people 50%, I make 10 times more money. Okay. Will they come back? Probably not.
right.
So that instantaneous I made the money now thing is all fine and dandy, but I prefer the continuity. I
Right.
prefer someone to say, "Oh man, that was so fantastic. I'll do it again. In fact, I'm going to tell 10 of my friends."
Right.
Whereas the 10 people might tell their friends, but they're not going to tell them what you want them to.
Right. That's true. That's true. Yeah, and for different people, they might, just some success means different for different things for different people.
Right.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I like the continuity myself personally because for me, I value this. Coming from the entertainment industry, I've been in it so long, was able to do so many things. And so when I decided to come into this area, this atmosphere, I wanted to say, you know what? I said to myself, this is success for me. I want to be able to reach people and I'll have my avatars, but I want to add value to their lives where our relationships will be over 5, 10, 20 years. That just means a lot to me.
Yep. It's a lot more fulfilling to have that confirmation of value given
Right.
because they keep coming back. They keep talking about you. They keep telling other people. They keep consuming your content. I mean, what better praise can there be?
Right. And so Monty, so with this we talk about, it's not just about having a presence, it's about making the presence shine. And so going back to this whole gem analogy, what are ways we can make each facet shine?
Well, it's about from the customer's point of view, from your ideal client,
Yeah.
It's what are they looking for?
Right.
And that's the shiny. So the
Right.
analogy of shiny, people think, well, I need to make it reflective. I need to make it bright. I need to make it, eye catching. It's like
Right.
for that person.
Right.
Because even with gems, there are people who don't like diamonds. I'd rather have a ruby, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's that, okay, well, you can't appeal to everybody all the time.
Right.
So let's identify these are the people I want to appeal to. Well, what is it that they want? And that's how I
Right.
know how to shine that facet. It's like, well, these people are looking for this kind of information. Well, then I put that information. That's the shine. These people want the shortcut. It's like, all right, well then I'm going to put the shortcut on here, or I'm going to put the means for them to get the shortcut.
Right. And I love that, and I think about that. I think about, even coming from the step of knowing your avatar, and then you're putting the content out there and you have that relationship with the potential client or the client or both. And the customer or the client's on that journey with you. I'm a fan of feedback. I love this time in the business world where we can get feedback so easily, whether it's doing a poll on social media, whether it's doing a questionnaire and asking in a question in the email, testimonials, things like that, asking what can we do better. That immediate feedback we can get, that just blows me away. So I think about that, adding it to the, with as far as the whole gem analogy, we could keep it shiny by keep getting that feedback from them.
Yep, that's the bring it around part. So it's I've identified them, I know what they want, I'm shining it up. How did that work? So then you're starting the whole process over again. It's like, oh, so they say, oh, it was pretty good, but we need this. Okay, you need that. Put it on, shine on the thing. How did that work? It was great. Let me do more. How did that work? Just
Right.
a cycle.
Right. And I love it, but the thing about it is so easy to miss. Like I've had clients say to me, "Hey, are you going to put this into your blank? Are you going to put this into your course? Are you going to put this into your masterclass? Oh, you need more visuals for this." And that's feedback. I'm like, "Oh,
Yep.
thank you." But it's so easy to miss that as things get so busy. And the tasks you have to do on a day to day get so busy it's so easy to not pay attention to those small details, which are
Right.
so important.
So if you build it into that cycle where, okay, I have the intent, I've made my avatar, I know who I'm marketing to. Now I have my intent, I'm making this piece of content, I'm shining this facet. All right. Now the next piece of intent is I need to instigate the feedback. And sometimes another great way with feedback is just general engagement. Just that asking a question or posing a scenario and asking for feedback on that. Just anything that they are giving you some kind of. Sometimes when you ask flat out, how was this? What could I do to improve?
Right.
People's brains just kind of like lose it. They're like, it was good. So
Hmm.
by just having a conversation with them, you get those things where they say something, and if you're paying attention, you can connect it through and say, "Oh, what they're actually saying there."
Right. And that's a great point because I mean we've heard this too. We've heard Jim say this, and you've witnessed it on your side, and I witnessed it on my side of things. It's people don't know like you mentioned, they may not know how to articulate it or say it, or we have to be able to answer that for them in a sense, or finish the sentence. If they start something, they may not be able to finish or articulate it. So to be able to read it and say, okay, yeah, I think what you're saying is this. You could even follow up with a question too. I think, are you also saying this? And kind of just and get the content you need or the information for the content or whatever the service you want to provide.
Yep. And that can just lead to getting more feedback too. It's like, "Oh, did
Right.
you mean this? Or were you saying that you feel like that?" And then they can elaborate. They're like, "Yes, that's exactly the way I felt." Or, "No, not quite. It was more like this."
Right. The power of dialogue, Monty.
Yes,
I love it. Gotta
indeed.
love it. So I guess it could help the gem out.
It can. It can indeed. The gym is just a tool. The
Just
gym
a
just
tool.
sits there.
And looks
You
good.
you have to take action.
Right. I was saying, yeah, it looks good, or you got to make it look good. You got to keep polishing.
You got to make it look good. The diamond in the rough don't look good. You gotta do things to it to get it to be to that caliber.
Right. You don't want to keep it at the diamond in the rough.
Right.
Make that baby shine.
Now we don't need no 2000 cut fancy thing either. We can get there if we want to, but you don't have to take that leap. You can take it in steps. Let's just get that rough diamond cut so you can polish one side of it.
Right.
Then you can work on more and more and more. For some people, there's only 2 or 3 sides to their gym.
Right.
So that's all they need. And there's other people that want a wider reach or have a more diverse community, and they want and need to polish up more.
Right.
So there's that identify your client.
Right.
Where are they? How can you reach them effectively? Because there's another one. It's like, yeah, you can reach people on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. And it's like, but those are different crowds. So there aren't too many
Right.
people that can go to all 4 of those social media platforms and have the same results come from all of them.
Right. Right. And
So
if you
in
strive,
my circumstance, I would be going, look at those, and then it's like, well, one of them is obviously way less than the others. I should just drop that. Or maybe one of them is just so far above all the rest that I'll just focus on that one.
right. I'll say this though, if you're one who wants to focus on the different platforms, and I love what you said, it is healthy to focus on one, but if you are one who's going to do the other platforms or have someone do it for you, it's good to have tools that can help you measure. Because if you don't measure, you're just going to be going in circles.
Yes, absolutely. You can put out content till your face turns blue. And if you don't know, that's the feedback part. To a
Right.
point, you have feedback from the actual ideal clients, and then you have the metrics of the actual data. And I don't think either one of those is better than the other. I think you need them both if you really, really want to get a true picture of what's going on.
Right. Right. And and actually we were talking about this a little bit earlier too, like tools that people can use for getting the data, getting the information that they need to be more effective.
Oh,
What?
there's so many types of tools. You have your count your clicks and count your page visits and all these impressions and things. But I think a really cool tool, there's a bunch of different ones. The one that I'm familiar with that's just the big name is Microsoft Clarity. And
Mm,
it's a free tool. And what it does is it analyzes the movements and the actions on the website. So it literally records every visitor and what they do, how long they scroll, how long they sit still on something, where they click. And what's really interesting about that is that where they click. So if you have a website and you have something that somebody thinks should be clickable, but it's not, you're going to be able to see that they clicked on that spot. And if you see that you have a bunch of visitors clicking on that spot, I should make that spot clickable. I should make it into
mm,
people are clicking on it. I should make it go somewhere or do something, or at least something pops up that says, "Don't click me." I don't know, something though. In fact, there's a metric called rage clicking, and
really?
yes, it's actually that's the name of it on the
Wow.
screen is rage clicks, and it tells
Mm,
you how many rage clicks you had. And basically, it's somebody goes and they're like, I'm trying to click on this. And one, they either think it's not working or it should be clickable. Either way, they're doing a bunch of clicks on it. They call it rage clicking. And it's
mm,
useful data. It
yeah.
means there's something on my website that somebody's unhappy with. Now, if it's just one person, all right, it's a one off. But if you see, gosh, every week I have 2 or 3 people doing this, that's a pretty clear indicator. Do something, change it, take it out at the very least so you don't have people upset. Anyone that's rage clicking means they're not happy.
Right. Wow. Cool. I didn't know about that.
And it's not like a prevalent thing that it's all over the place, but
Right.
it's something to be aware of. One of the many things that, oh, I can find out this information.
Yeah. No, that's really helpful for the website. And you've helped me out a lot with that. If I won't get into this next thing if you want to talk about a story per se, but I know I'll just say this, you've definitely helped me out with that as far as getting the tools I can have for my site, my blog, etc.
Yeah, and again, that's individual because one person, even two people that are doing the exact same thing, have their preferences. So one person will be using this set of tools, and this person will be using some of those, but they like these other ones differently. Some
Right.
people are using Otter AI for for their transcription and recording of stuff, and other people are
Right.
using Fathom. And there's just different tools that have a little bit of different stuff to them, and based on the person's needs, that's usually the indicator. And that's why, because if everybody needed the exact same thing, then there'd just be one choice of everything.
Right. Which is boring.
Yes, very much so. And then everything would just be a price gouge.
Yeah.
Because if everything was the same, then there would be no difference. And so why would you choose one person over another? Oh, because they have a cheaper price. And we all know what happens if you compete by cheaper price. Somebody goes out of business.
Get that right. You don't want to do that.
No.
And I'm glad you mentioned that about the websites. They have a lot of good tools too for social media too. People wanted to jump on it, but it's good. I love how you talked about it's good to figure out which one could work for you. I know for me, I use like one called Metricool. There's a free version of it as well, but I love the fact that I could view my analytics and I can compare over a certain amount of time. And even for my clients, I could do it for them as well. And it's helpful because it kind of helps me to say, okay, well, I know it's important according to what a client or myself I might value as far as a specific platform to make things shine, but I could also measure it according to the data that I have. And if I
Right.
can do that and try to find a good even keel medium, it helped me to be more successful.
Well,
So
it's also a baseline. It helps
yeah,
you, it establishes your baseline. This is what I'm expecting. So then when I do
right,
something, I can see if that has any results.
right,
Conversely, it also means that you can tell if something changed out there. If you didn't do anything and suddenly your numbers change, you can be like, oh, well, something happened. Was it because there's some tragedy out there, some disaster or war or something like that that'll affect people's buying habits,
right,
or is it because Google changed their algorithm and now I need to figure out and catch up so that I can get back into my baseline again?
right,
So the
right,
metrics are important for both sides,
right,
for my improvement and for my maintaining.
right, right. And also to add to that too, are things changing? Are patterns changing?
Right. Yep.
Which is very important to pay attention to. I mean, you I mean, we won't get into this too, but even with social media, you have the running ads portion, and you also have the organic marketing. But even for the organic marketing, are patterns changing? Your data can potentially tell you. Of course, you have to know about it or have someone to help you figure that out.
Well, it's just like with a map. You need to know where you are before you can get to where you want to be. So there's that
Right.
baseline. You need to know where you are. Where are things average normally? And therefore, when something's different, whether it's me or external, I can identify that and accommodate for it.
Right. Right. So yeah, that stands out to me a lot in this conversation, Monty. Just paying attention to the third party apps that can help you and to pay attention and measure. Measurement's important.
And it's just like what we were saying earlier too. It's not like you're going to get this set up and then you're just going to run it and it's on autopilot and you can just go off and do the next thing. This is an ongoing. It's like you've established your baseline. So now you're going to do something to see if you can improve that. And if you can, your baseline's now going to be a new baseline. And so therefore, you have to kind of reanalyze again. And it's a constant, again, it's a system. It's a process. I just need to have steps 1, 2, and 3. And if I just do 1, 2, and 3 and do 1, 2, and 3 and do 1, 2, and 3, then I can keep going. As long as these steps are a little bit flexible, 1, 2, and 3 allows me to do 1A, B, C, or D, 2A, B, C, or D, then I can accommodate if the social media tendencies have changed. I can adapt.
Right. It reminds me of that quote, the Wayne Gretzky quote. It's about I'm totally misquoting it, but it's just pretty much follow the puck wherever it goes. That's the whole idea.
Right. Yep, to a point, but there's more to it than that. There's
Mm,
okay, I follow it to there, but now from there, what's my new tactic?
yeah.
Because I don't have the same tactic from there as I did from back here.
Right.
I have the same goal, get the ball in the hole. But how am I going to get it in the hole? Well, I'm going to hit it at the hole to a point. But from here, I'm going to hit it at this angle with this much force. From there, I'm going to
Right.
hit it at this angle with this much force.
Right. It is truly an art.
And that goes with just absolutely anything. I'm running
Right.
ads. Okay, well, this time I need to extend it longer and put more money into it. This one I need to focus it more and target my client more. Just all these little things, little tweaks.
Right. Right. Good stuff, Monty.
Yeah, it all ties together to the gym. We kind of went off on some other topics a little bit, but they still tie back to that gym idea and the
Right.
facets that face certain customers, and you do certain things to shine those facets to attract those customers.
Right.
There was the keep it simple right there.
There it is. It's like an overview.
That's right. That's that overview. That's that 1, 2, 3 thing. And then there's A, B, C's, and D's inside of each number. And that's where different people can do it differently depending on their preference and their business and their clients.
Right on. That is right. So what else, Monty? I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
We did. Yeah, I think
Not, hey, I'll say this. Not bad coming from a what? A 15-second short.
right.
This
And
statement was short.
5 minutes of planning.
Right.
Yeah, we're getting pretty good at this talk thing, I'd say.
Uh-huh.
I remember the first couple episodes we had everything all lined out. I had this big printout with all the questions and all my answers and everything. And then it was like, oh, we didn't quite have that. Oh, well, we got most of it. And then there was that one week where it was like, let's just do something. We didn't have time to figure it out. And ever since then, we just that's the way we do it. Here's the topic. Here's a few talking points. Let's talk.
Let's have a conversation. I love it.
And we're really ready. If we get any comments in there, we can easily shift gears or direction and talk about whatever.
Right. I love it. Love it, Monty. Keep shining that gem.
Just keep it shiny. Only the important parts, though.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
It's not like your car. You don't have to wash the whole thing.
Right. You don't have to dry every single corner of it. Although some people like to do that.
Some people do. But you don't find too many people to just wash the door.
Yeah.
Wash one door and the hood. Well, that's all people are looking at.
The hatchback. The tires.
Oh, there's some people, tires are important.
Yeah. Well,
and so there's that multifaceted gym. The importance to the people on both sides.
Right.
And what's important? Because, if you look at other people, that different things are important to them. So it may seem like, gosh, it's so hard to do what they're doing, and they make it seem so easy. Well, it's because what they're doing is important to them, and you're doing what they're doing, but it's not important to you.
Right.
You're just trying to make money.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's a journey. It's important to figure what's important to you, what you value, but also what's important to the customer for sure. What's important to your target audience, which we talked about at the beginning.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Do you want this journey to be on the interstate with 8 hours of 75-mile-an-hour monotonous drone? Or do you want this journey to be, we're stopping at the giant butter statue of Abraham Lincoln. And then we're going to go and stop at Dinosaur Land. And then we're going to go have lunch at, whatever.
Oh, don't give that away, Monty. Don't give it away yet.
The journey.
We're gonna get. Oh yes, looking forward to that.
Yes.
So I
All
think that
right.
we said a lot of good stuff today.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that we could add on to that, but you know what? I think we did a good job.
I think that was good for today. Good
I think it
stuff.
was. And
Polish that gem.
and you can catch that episode on yours and CJ's podcast. The
That's right. You know
original.
what? I'll put a. Yes. Let me. I will put a link in the comment area about the short, or a link on the short and the episode. How about that?
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
There you go.
Boom. There we go. Love it.
There it is.
There it is. Hey, Monty, question. So if someone is having a very hard time putting their content out there, they want to shine their gem, right? But they don't even know where to start as far as having a solid web presence. Where can they go to get help, to get that
They can
support they
contact
need?
me at montyarmstrong.com. Don't worry about figuring it out. Just scroll to the bottom and fill out the contact forms. And Monty, help me.
Dude, you're getting really good at that. That's solid. Now I gotta figure. Now I feel like I have to figure something out. No, I won't. I guess I will. Well, maybe I will. Who knows?
Well, you have a great looking website, Carl. If people are trying to figure out how to improve their video presence, their personal presence, they want to speak in front of audiences, live and recorded, and they don't feel confident doing it. Where can they go to get some help with that?
If they need to get that help with the confidence to have a solid, strong presence, they can go to carlaline.com, where it's all things Carl.
All things Carl.
All things Carl, baby.
And he's got a bunch of stuff there. It's a fantastic website.
All
it's worth looking at, even if you don't need confidence.
Right. I had a great coach to help me out with that too. And by the way, a great blog as well, which is what I was looking for years. And I finally have one that I'm happy with. How about that?
That is awesome. One that you're happy with. Not just have one, but have one that you're happy with.
Happy is an understatement. I'm elated about it. I'm excited about it. I need to put another article up this week, by the way. Yes, but I'm excited about it.
Well, that's what we'll be working on here soon. We're gonna work on a system that will help you get articles on your blog consistently.
Let's go. Can't wait for that. Let's not let the cat out the bag yet, though.
Did I say that right? That's coming up. That's coming up.
That's coming up.
That won't be until next year.
Next to 2024, which is right around the corner.
Oh yeah, I guess it is, huh?
And by the way, stay tuned for a special edition of Get Found, Be Seen.
That's right.
Next week. No, wait, we have 2 more weeks.
We got 2 weeks. We got another regular episode before the special episode.
Before the special. Okay, cool. Jumping the gun. It's one of those weekends.
You're so excited.
So excited. All right, everyone. That's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week on Get Found
and Be Seen. See you next time.